Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam and I broke my earrings today, so we're going asymmetrical and we're just like pretending it's meant to be. That's how my day is going. I'm also still getting over being sick, so I do apologize for sounds. I will cut out every cough and sniffle that I can. You're welcome in advance, but everything else, the nasally sounds, you know, is what it is. But hello, as you can tell from the title, it is time to talk about the next installment of the r/fantasy bingo. This is a Reddit, oh wow, my age is showing, Reddit forum, Reddit thread? What do they call them? It's a subsection of Reddit where people talk about fantasy books, and every year they host a bingo board from April 1st to March 31st. So it does overlap years just a smidge, but yeah, it's so fun. But it's a bingo board. They give you prompts with hero mode. You have to review all of the books that you read, which is really easy to do if you use Storygraph or Goodreads, or you have a booktube channel or Bookstagram. And then the other part of it is the hard mode, which is a way to spice up the prompts and make them just a little bit harder, as if they're not hard enough. So that's kind of where we're at. I participated in this 2 years in a row, I believe, and I did terrible the first year. I did good the next year. What I love about this is, like, I'm going in with a set TBR. I'm telling you, like, these are the things that I'm hoping to read that would fill these prompts. But with that said, if I don't get to these books, there's likely to be other books that I read throughout the year that will fit and I can slot in at the end of the year if, like, I miss something, which is probably my favorite thing about this. It's very flexible. Some of the prompts are a bit harder than others, but it helps you get out of your comfort zone. It's just a lot of fun. It's not like a community that I'm super engaged with. I do get their, like, Goodreads newsletters, which tell me, like, the book of the month books and so on. No, they tell me, like, the book club books each month that they're planning to get to. They haven't since January, so I don't know what's going on with the Goodreads, so I could be wrong. But, like, usually they'll update you and tell me, like, ah, yeah, this is what we're reading, blah, blah, blah. So, with all that said, let us jump in. Let us talk about what is on my plan TBR. I've got so many books around me, and these aren't even all of them. It's a little crazy. So the first prompt on the bingo board is to read a first book in the series. The hard mode, which I always try to go for, is to read a series, start a series that is larger than a trilogy, has many books, and I don't know how many books is specifically in this series, but I know it's more than 3. So this is Blood Mercy by Bella Roth. I know that it is a political fantasy vampire romance. One human, one immortal. Will their alliance save the kingdom, or will their forbidden love be a death sentence? I really liked Serpent and the Wings of Night, so I'm hoping for similar vibes. I think this might be a little bit more politically dense. She's chunky. Apparently this is, like, the first book, but part 1. I'm not entirely sure how, like, all of these are coming out, but it's a big series. There's a lot of moving parts. I've heard good reviews. The people on BookTube that I typically trust for fantasy romance have really enjoyed the series so far and are planning to continue, so same. Yep. I gifted this book to me myself, Eliza and Daphne, for Christmas in 2023, and so I'm hoping I can talk them into a buddy read when I'm ready to pick this lovely beast of a book up. But yes, I'm excited. And then on, like, the back burner of books that I would hope to get to for this, which again, like, I read a lot of fantasy, it's not impossible, but Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard I've never read. And I would like this year to focus on some backlist books, even though a lot of these are still new releases. I would also like to focus on backlist books that I've been excited about, that I missed the hype of, because, like, although I was interested in reading growing up and, like, watched a lot of BookTube, I didn't actually pick up the books and actually read as many of the books because I was in high school and a very different person than who I am now. So Red Queen would be, I think, a lot of fun. Okay, the next one was Mean, if you're doing the hard mode. So the next prompt is an alliterative title? I'm repeating the word too many times in my head that it sounds incorrect no matter what I say. So this would be something like The Stars of Stardust. I don't write books, and maybe that's why. It's basically like having multiple words start with the same letter, and the hard mode is 3 or more, which is a lot harder than you think it would be. You would think that a lot of books would repeat letters, and they just don't. So for this is something that was on my R Fantasy last year that I actually wasn't able to get to, and it's The Utterly Uninteresting and Unadventurous Tale of Fred, the Vampire Accountant. I already have this on hold on Libby. I just thought it sounds fun. I haven't heard great reviews, but I'm still willing to give it a try. It still sounds fun and interesting. I'm like, why not? It sounds quirky. So yeah, that's the one that I picked because there's the 3 U's and therefore it counts. And it's a very long and obnoxious title, but it makes me laugh every time, so that's the one. Okay, the next prompt is Under the Surface. The hard mode is to read a book that takes place like 50% or more under the surface or underwater, in a cave, whatever. I've got 2 options to pick from. Our Wives Under the Sea takes place under sea, which counts. And then also Dungeon Crawler Carl is a series that I've heard really fun things about. R/Fantasy recommends it quite often. It just seems like a really fun time, very like Dungeons and Dragons-esque. But, you know, you're dungeon crawling, which means you're like underground. It seems fun. It seems like something I would be interested in. Why not? And then my recommendation to you, which I don't know exactly if it would count for hard mode because I am still... Ooh, I need to do an announcement on that here soon. So sorry. Anyone who is here for the Red Rising read along, it will happen. I'm so sorry. Anyways, past my shame. That I think might maybe count. I don't think that he's in Mars for more than 50%, but it's a fun series for the less hard mode. Okay, so the next prompt is criminals, and then parentheses for the hard mode features a heist. On my list, but is tentative. Tempest of Tea, I've heard, has a heist in vampires, and I'm intrigued. I have not read We Hunt the Flames. It's on my TBR for this as well. Hopefully I can get to it, but everyone's been reading Tempest of Tea, and I've got a little bit of FOMO. But my pick for this, that I'm very excited about, is Fear the Flame by Olivia Rose Darling. This is, I think, getting traditionally published, and there's a pre-order on Amazon that's coming out, I think, in September. And I don't know what's going to change. I don't know what the cover is going to look like. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I haven't read it yet. Just know I want to. I'm hoping to buddy read this with Eliza at some point. I just am so excited. And it's like big font, big margins, fun little chapters. I'm excited. I know there's dragons. I know that people who hated Fourth Wing really enjoyed this. I don't think they're going to be out all the same, but I'm really excited. Princess, Prisoner, Runaway, Queen. I'm just excited. I love fantasy romance, so, you know, here we are. No surprise, but excited. That edition that I have is before she revised it, and then, like, republished her self-published edition, which is the copy that Eliza has. So I don't know what, like, the differences are going to really be, and if they're, like, major. Probably not major, but, like, if it's just, like, spelling or what. And so I'm intrigued to see, like, how it might differ from, like, the traditionally published. I think it just might be a hardcover. I don't know what's going on. I'm not up to date with things. 2 others that I have on this list. One would be Six of Crows. I haven't read it. It's on this later, though. And also Foundry Side apparently has a heist, and I really want to get to that. So that's also pretty high on the list. Okay, so the next prompt is dreams. And the hard prompt for that is non-magical dreams, which isn't really, you know, something people talk about. They're not like, oh yeah, this book, the non-magical dream was really cool. I'm sure there are Indigenous or Black authors that probably have books with dreams in them, and they might not be magical, but I don't know of them, to be honest. There's very few that I do know. Strange the Dreamer is the first one that comes to mind, but like those are definitely magical. So this one's tough. We will have to just kind of wait and see. But my non-hard mode option is Dreams Lie Beneath. I think these are going to be magical dreams. I truly am not sure. Every new moon, magic flows from a nearby mountain and brings nightmares to life. Yeah, so that feels magical. Just right off the bat, something about that just tells me it might be a little magical. But I'm really excited. I've had this for a while, like since it came out, I think. And the fact that I've yet to read it is upsetting, nonetheless. So I'm really excited to get to this finally, because I've been wanting to for so long. The next one, which somebody recommended in the Reddit forum, I'll leave everything down in the description. If you need recommendations, it's an incredible resource. If you're struggling with a prompt, like the Reddit forums got your back. Like they've got so many recommendations. It's great. But somebody recommended City of Nightmares, which it said something about like the dreams themselves not being magical, but like the town being magical. So this one's maybe a little bit unsure, but if they aren't magical dreams, this could work. I'm excited to pick this up. This is the Illumicrate, nope, Fairy Loot, I never get that right. This is the Fairy Loot special edition that I've had for a while. It's like superhero stuff, like nightmares come to life in this very normalized town. I'm not fully sure, but I have been wanting to pick this up and read it because I've heard good things about it, and the sequel came out last year, I think, so yeah, would like to check it out. And then I've also been told by Covers with Cassidy that the sequel to Blood and Steel by Helen Schaffer, or something like that, has non-magical dreams because it's a fantasy romance where girls have nightmares and boys cuddle them to make them feel better. And so I know, like, if in a pinch none of these work, that for sure will, and I'm definitely reading that pretty soon. So yeah, those are my options. People also have recommended like the Raven Boys, not the first book, but later in the series. Some of those work, and somebody also recommended Lord of the Rings, which I need somebody to fact check for fact check that for me. The Game of Tomes, hosted by Emma and Carolyn. I think it's May and June that they are reading Lord of the Rings for their book club, like the whole trilogy, which they give you 2 months to read the whole thing, and I'm most likely going to participate. This will be my first time reading Lord of the Rings, so if there are non-magical dreams, which I think would be true, I think, that would count, which, cool. So those are kind of like my options when I'm bouncing around. The next one is Entitled Animals, which is just animals in the titles. See bunny as an example. The hard mode is to have a mythical animal, like the unicorn, the last unicorn. I don't know what that's about. I've not read it, but everybody's recommended it. I've chosen Dragonfall because, again, I like dragons, and I've been wanting to read this since Fourth Wing. So I'm late to the game, as you can tell with Fear the Flame. Also, I have Fireborn. I have lots of them. I haven't read them though, and so I would like to. So here we have Dragonfall, which is YA, I think. Watch me get that so wrong. It's gonna be a trilogy, and there's a table of contents. Wow. So yeah, I don't know what this is about. I know there's dragons, and that is enough for me. And dragon is in the title. Boom. The book stacks are growing around me. All right, the next one is a bit tricky. The theme is bard, and that could be poets, musicians, artists of words. And the hard mode is that they have to explicitly be called a bard, which I think if you read anything D&D adjacent, you'll probably find relatively easy. But Name of the Wind might have a bard. I don't know if it counts for hard mode, but there's definitely poets. I could be totally talking out of my butt right now. Also, the Warm Hands of Ghosts, I think, also have poets, which is a newer release that I'm intrigued in. I'm waiting for more reviews to come out so that I can kind of really gauge my interest. But the two books that I have for hard mode would be A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Apparently they're called bards. And Bloody Rose, who I don't remember the author of, and I don't own, and I just kind of wrote it down. Now I have no memory of anything about it, but apparently bards are involved, so might pick that up. And then the next one is prologues and epilogues, the hard mode, both. And for this, I have the City of Stardust, who XOJO has raved about. And the second she put on her Instagram stories how much she loved this, I was like, okay, I hear you. And I actually put, sorry, if I look uncomfortable, it's because I'm half sitting on my cat right now because she's hogging this chair. So sorry, I had to move her tail. Oh yeah, when she put on her Instagram stories how much she was loving this, I instantly put it on hold at Libby, and now I've just like been waiting to read it, which has been my own fault at this point. But I'm really excited. This is also the Fairy Loot edition. There is a prologue and an epilogue in this. I think it's gonna be a series. I'm not sure. I hope not. That'd be cool if it wasn't, but my luck, it probably will be. I truly know absolutely nothing about this. Like, not a single thing, except for she loved it and I was like sold. So I'm gonna read that because I already have it on hold. So great. Also, Name in the Wind works for this, and I've heard that the Jasmine Throne works for this, which I think I was planning to read this month for Buzzwordathon, but there's like a lot of things going on with it, and I feel like it's one that I would want to read along with because it's like a bit denser of a fantasy, so we will see if I end up getting to that. This one is a bit tougher, and it's to read a self-published or indie published book, the hard mode, under 100 ratings, which if you read Kindle Unlimited is definitely possible, but I don't read a lot of self-published stuff, so my goal, my objective, my thought process is, what if I just wait for a Kindle Unlimited self-published release that I'm really excited for, and just when it comes out, I read it as fast as humanly possible, and I can be one of the first 100 to review it. Is that a good idea? Will that pan out the way that I hope? Maybe not. But I'm sure gonna try. And then the next one is to read a romantasy, which, as you can probably tell by the stack I've already shown you, is my vibe. So this one felt a little easy. And the hard mode of it is that it needs to be a queer main character, which is not hard for me. Kindle Unlimited has so many options. It depends on, I guess, your smut level. But I've heard Feybound works for this, that it's a sapphic relationship and couple, and everybody has been reading this, and I want to read it too. So I'm waiting for my hold with Libby to come in so that I can pick this up. This is also, again, Fairy Loot edition. I'm gonna be honest, I think I like the red more. The red just like really stands out to me and like makes me recognize the cover. I don't know. Is that just me? What do you think? I think it's still pretty, don't get me wrong, but I know that this has to do with sisters and fae, and like they are taken out of their world, and one of them is like a little soldier girl, and like what they thought of the world wasn't true or something like that. I haven't read it, don't know for sure, but this I've been told is sapphic. But my first option is one I don't own. I'll listen to the audiobook for, and it's A Taste of Gold and Iron. So gay. Look at the cover. It tells you everything you ever need to know. Like, it's the most queer main character you could probably get, and I'm really excited. This is on my 12 friends recommend 12 books. The PM Reader recommended this to me, and I'm just excited. I think I'm gonna like it. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. The other option that I have is like a super duper backup, just like for funsies, which I was on my radar because Carrie Can Read talked about it, and it's the Thrown in the Dark, I think, trilogy. There might be 4 books. I don't remember. But the male lead character is loosely bisexual. It's like not really talked about or mentioned. It's not like a big deal in the book, but it is mentioned that like he has been with both men and women. So it technically would count. It's not like super strong and present in the book, but it doesn't erase his bi-ness because he's in a heterosexual relationship in the book. So that one would also count. Water. Drink your water. I've had a lacking amount of water for how sick I've been. Okay, the next one. Ooh. It's Dark Academia. It's all great. I love it. I'm a little Dark Academia stan, and it's been my mission to read Dark Academia a lot. So, the hard prompt for Dark Academia is that it's like a mundane school, which when you look at our fantasy, you're like, oh, look at this bingo. A mundane school for Dark Academia, easy. And then you think of like The Secret History or whatever. But it has to still be speculative. It can be horror, it can be fantasy, it can be sci-fi, but there has to be magical elements to the world, to the books, for it to count for our fantasy. So no literary would work. So for this, I've grabbed Vita Nostra. I don't know how mundane the school is. I've heard that it's the Institute of Special Technologies. How special of technologies are they? Or is it just like really cool computers, or is it magical? I don't know. I'm gonna have to read to find out. But this was on my TBR last month, I think, if not the month before, and I've been meaning to get to it. And I really want to get to it, even though it's got the world's smallest font. I'm really excited to pick this up and finally read it, and I will let you know if it counts for mundane school or not. Another option, which is like full fantasy, I don't think it would count for hard mode, is Blood Over Bright Haven, which I think is the same author that wrote The Sword of Kaigen, and that's got a mundane school, but is like so fantasy. No, it doesn't have a mundane school. It's just so fantasy. Sick brain, bear with me. But I'm really excited for that one. I've heard like a lot of buzz and hype around it. Also would work for this, An Education of Malice. I think Legendborn would work for this, The Raven Boys. Like, there's so many options. Take your pick. Like, it's so easy. Okay, this next one is multiple POV, which is like 2 or more, but the hard mode is 5 or more, which is just like 3 too many POVs, if you ask me. But I've been told, as the last human on this planet to have not read this book, I've been told Six of Crows has that many. I think it's 5 or 6. This is about a group of found family ragtag teens coming together, doing heists. It's popular, it's beloved, it's like everyone's bed and butter? No, but bread and butter. Everyone loves it. I've got pretty high hopes. I hope that I love it too. I truly like, don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna read this. So big. I'm gonna read this. Mark my word. Because apparently it's got so many POVs. I think it might be in third person, which could maybe be why. Who knows? Who knows, man? Juiced. What a name. Juiced. This is where I get canceled. So yeah, this is my first option for this prompt. But I've also been told that Jonathan Strange and Mr. Noel is an option, and I think Game of Thrones might also be reading this at some point. Big book. Massive book. Would like to read it though. I really liked Piranesi, and I think that this one, her debut, is just gonna be like something special. And then also The Jasmine Throne apparently has way too many POVs. So that's also an option if I end up picking it up. The next one is like a fan favorite, easy to do. I've probably already done it without realizing, and that is a debut published in 2024. So the options that I've marked down for this, Lore of the Wilds, Where the Dark Still Stands, My Darling Dreadful Thing, and The Poisons We Drink. So take your pick. There's a lot of options. I think for sure I will probably pick up to Where the Dark Still Stands or The Poisons We Drink, because those ones interest me the most, but we will see. And the next prompt, oh goodness, is a character with disability. Hard mode is the main character. This one excited me so much. Yes, Six of Crows also works for this. Apparently The Final Strife works for this, but the sequel to a book I did enjoy, apparently far and few between are enjoying it. Wrong. Sunbringer. I never get this right. I should be so ashamed. By Hannah Canner. This is the sequel to God Killer, and our main character, whose name does fully escape me, Kissin lost her leg as a child and has like I don't know the proper terms for things. She's missing a limb and she has a replacement for it. And she's not a pirate, so it's not a peg leg, but it is something of the sort. Like, her friends made her a working leg to help her travel and like kill gods and stuff. And I'm lacking the vocabulary for those words. Prosthetics. She has a prosthetic leg. Haha. Sometimes you just have to like circle word vomit to get your way into thinking of things. So yeah, Kissen is disabled and is such a badass. I love it. So yeah, I'm really excited to be seeing these characters again. This is the Fairyland edition to match their other, no, Illumicrate. I don't remember anymore, y'all. But this is book 2 of the Fallen Gods trilogy, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. Like, the last one ended on quite a bang. These are beautiful, stunning books. And I'm really excited. The reason I bought this special edition is solely because I couldn't find it in hardback instead of paperback. So I have the special one. But I'm really excited. My audiobook should be coming in soon, so I can rejoin these characters. This has 4 POVs if you need multi-POV and you're not going for the hard modes. This one has 4. One of them being a minor god. One of them being this, like, kind of charming little himbo boy that I really like. And then this girl, this noble girl, who is also friends with the lesser god, and they're like this little found family ragtag team of god killers, sort of. There's so much more to it. I'm explaining it so poorly, but a lot of people haven't been loving it. It's a little bit of a slower read. There's definitely a lot more world building and like a lot going into it, so I kind of get it, but I really like them. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it, so I'm excited to finally continue. So the next one is probably the one that was hardest for me, and it's published in the 90s. Hard mode. The author is still publishing books within the last 5 years. Neil Gaiman might work for this. I don't know when his books were originally published, but he could probably work for this. But the one that I'm going to go with is Daughter of the Forest. I don't remember the author's name, and why would I write such details down that are really important to the channel, but here's the picture, so it should be fine. But she, I guess, is still writing within the last 5 years and still like putting out books, which is great. Good for you. Cool. Daughter of the Forest, I believe, if I remember correctly, I first saw on, I think, Emmy's channel. Her name is Emma, but her channel name is Emmy. We all know her. I don't need to justify what I'm saying. And I think it's the, oh goodness, fairy tales, please. The ones with the brothers turning into geese. But also, like, I know she's blind in the book. Am I just getting this really confused with, this is 6 of Crows. No, fuck. 6 Crimson Cranes. I'm getting derailed. I think we just gotta speed through the rest of this. Yeah, so, Daughters of the Forest, I'm hoping to pick up. I think she saved her brothers. I truly don't remember. Next one. Orcs, trolls, and goblins. Oh my. The hard mode is that it's the main character. This one is also very tricky. Everybody and their mothers are recommending the Goblin Emperor, who is following a half-goblin who is an emperor. And I'm assuming that it's political. I think it's young adult. A lot of people are recommending it. So I might dabble and dip my toes in it and just like see what it's about. It seems like a very like classic, stable fantasy that people really loved and enjoyed. But as a backup, in case I hate that, I do have Legends and Lattes, which we've got our orc girl, Viv, who is an orc barbarian who opened a little coffee shop. I know, I'm like the last person to read this too. I don't know what I read all year, but clearly it's not things that are popular. And so I would like to read this. I'm gonna read, it might be controversy, I'm gonna listen to Bone Dust in Bookshops first, which is the prequel, and then I'm gonna read this because people who have read this first and then went and read the prequel when it came out said that it was a little bit redundant and kind of lost its charm. So I'm hoping that that will help me enjoy both a little bit more, because I'm not a big cozy fantasy girl, but you know, we're gonna keep gaslighting myself until I read it. So excited. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be like my new favorite book. Okay, the next one is space opera, and I don't think I like space opera. I'm not a sci-fi girl. I like to pretend that I am. There are some sci-fis that I can get down with and like are so good, but for the most part, I'm not a strong sci-fi girl. So this one is already hard enough for me, and then I don't know. I'm worried about it. I'm worried that I'm not gonna like these books, but I have them, so it's good. It's pushing me to read the books on my shelves that I don't think I would want to typically read. The hard mode of this prompt is to read an author of marginalized gender identity, so trans, NB, non-binary, female, women, and I'm going with women because that's what I have on my shelves. So the first one on my shelf is Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh, and this one I'm extra nervous about because I didn't really love her first novella duology. This is her first novel, which, you know, maybe I'll like it more, but it's also space opera, which makes me think that I might not like it more. I'm super nervous. This is a Lumicrate exclusive edition. While we live, the enemy shall fear us. We are what's left. We are what must survive. This is a thrillingly told science fiction tale about the wreckage of war, the family you find, and who you must become when every choice is stripped from you. This standalone space opera is highly anticipated debut from the astounding award winner, good lord, and Crawford Award finalist Emily Tesh. So I am excited. I just lied to you. I'm intrigued. I want to like this. I just don't know if I will like this, but we will see. We will see. And then the other option that I have is The Principle of Moments by Esme Jackimi Pearson. I'm so sorry. I would like to petition. I'm making a lot of petitions today. Can we get like name pronunciation guides in like the back where like the author, she's so pretty. I'm so sorry to butcher your name. You're gorgeous and I'm terrible. But if we could start getting like pronouns and name pronunciations and the like about the author, God, that would be nice. That would be so helpful. Both of these authors' bios use the pronoun her when talking about them in the third person, so I'm going to speculate women for now. If I find out later, I'll correct myself, but that's what I'm going with just based off their little bios. But this one I'm intrigued with because I know that I just showed you like a White House looking thing. There is space. It is fantastical. What I remember about this is like it involves time travel, which is also not something I really like. This was also a Lumicrate. They went on a little like space opera bender, but this one says it's a love letter to Black readers of science fantasy. The Principle of Moments is a symphonic, century-spanning adventure, unmissable of fans for the space-fearing found family of Becky Chambers, the alternate London of E. Schwab, and the virtuistic climate craft of N.K. Jemisin. So I am intrigued to pick this one up a little bit more. I just am hoping that I enjoy it. I don't know. Space opera, like just the word space opera just stresses me out. Like it worries me. I don't know. But they're beautiful books. Very spacey. I should give them a shot. Okay, and the next one is a reoccurring prompt that they do every year. The hard mode is the only thing that changes, and this year Author of Color's hard mode is debut in the last 5 years, which is so easy. Way too easy. Everyone must complete this prompt so easily. And if you don't, not cool. My pick, because I'm just so stinking excited. I don't know why. I have no reason. I've heard like no reviews for this. This is the Illumicrate special edition. I want to read this so bad. I'm like sticking it on any TBR I possibly can because I want to read it so bad. So this is Sarah Hashem, the Jihad Hair. From the Ashes, the Queen rises. Get ready for an unmissable tale of shattered kingdoms, forbidden magic, and cunning royals in Sarah's Egyptian-inspired epic fantasy debut. This came out in 2023, I believe. 10 years old, the Jihad Hair fled a massacre that consumed her entire family. At 15, she buried her first body, and at 21, her carefully crafted lies are starting to crumble. I don't know. There's just something about this that excites me to a whole new level, and I just need to devour this as soon as I can. I'm so excited. Other options that I have on my TBR that I would like to get to. I have We Hunt the Flames. I just really need to read it. I tried once and I was not in the right space for it. So I put it down because I was just listening to the audiobook and I was like, too many characters. But I would like to read We Hunt the Flames. And then also I have The Daughters of Izdahar, which I'm getting the audiobook in soon. This was also on my Our Fantasy bingo last year and I didn't get to it because I am a fool. No other way to put it. I'm so excited for this one. There's something about it sounds good. It's about these two characters and magic and stuff. I don't remember exactly. My recommendations to you to look out for: one, Kingdom of Souls comes out this year and the cover is gorgeous and I'm excited for it. But other options, I really enjoyed The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson and I do recommend it highly. It is horror. It is so good. I liked it a lot more than House of Hunger, if you ask me. I'm so sorry. But also These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, or anything by her. I really liked her duology, so I'm sorry if you don't, but that is a good recommendation on my part. So the next prompt is survival, hard mode, non-pandemic related, which, you know, fine by me. Don't have to ask me twice. Hunger Games is obviously the top of the list because how dare I still have not read it. I know. Again, I want to read Backlist. We're going to do it this year. It's going to be great. But yeah, Hunger Games, of course, checks out. I also have Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. And their new release, Ghost Station, is coming out this year. So I think these would also work, and I would like to read this because I planned to read it like 2 years ago in October, and then I just never did, and it's been ignored ever since, and I just feel bad. I feel like it deserves me to read it, you know? Like, I have high hopes. The ultimate haunted house story in space. Like, it's just right up my alley. I say as a girl who doesn't love sci-fi. Checks out. Also, Project Hail Mary works for this. I have to read that this year. Darn my friends. It's okay. I'm not excited, but I'm hopeful. People who say they're not gonna like it love it, so we're gonna go into it optimistic. Chain Gang All-Stars counts for this, which I had no interest in, and then I saw the Roomies Digest read it, and I said, maybe I am interested. Maybe this does sound good. Also, A Deadly Education would work, because there's a school literally trying to kill them, and I would like to read that. And then also, How High We Go in the Dark does not work for hard mode, but it is like the #1 pandemic read. So, fun things. Judge a book by its cover, and hard mode to not read anything but like blurbs on the cover is something I do often. Mostly on Kindle Unlimited, so I don't have anything like specifically picked out, but like Kindle Unlimited will be like, here's the books that we recommend, and I go, well, these covers are pretty, and I add them to a list. And that's just how toxic I am on KU. So, yeah, don't have a pick yet. The next one is a book set in a small town, and the hard prompt is that it's a real world small town. And for this, hesitantly, because I say it every year, but Twilight I would like to read as well. I would like to read Twilight. Yeah, so Twilight, top of the list. It's gotta be done. We gotta read it. I also have, based off Cassidy's recommendation, Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison, which I bought it, so I must be somewhat excited. This would be my first Rachel Harrison. Most of her books, like, don't really interest me. I'm not, like, super piqued to pick them up. I'm just like, eh. I think it mostly Crackled, like, really threw me off, and I just don't hear all great reviews for every book, and so I'm just like, I don't know. But this one, a lot of people have enjoyed, and it's like small town cult vibes, which I do like. So I also have this as an option. And my recommendation to you, it's probably like there-ish. Mexican Gothic. It's set in Mexico, small town, so small town. I think it's real world. You could yell at me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a real town. And I really enjoyed that book. It was really good. It was like a 4.5, almost 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of my friends' favorite, like, highly recommend. The next one is 5 short stories, or hard mode, read a whole anthology, which I do not super often, not as much as I maybe would like to, but I do read anthologies enough. The top of my list one that I'm really excited about would be Never Whistle at Night, which is an indigenous short story anthology about tales of scary stuff, and I would like to read it. I have very little knowledge going into it. I've seen like maybe 2 reviews and I was like, yeah. And also the cover is gorgeous. So yeah, those are my options. That's my singular option. That's the one I'm telling myself I'm gonna read. And then the next one is a hard mode non-Lovecraft Eldritch creature, which I don't read Lovecraft, so in my brain that just says not Cthulhu. And I feel like that he's got like more creatures than just that, you know? But Cassidy has recommended Among the Razor's Edge, which is about this like girl who I think commits a crime and gets thrown into a pit. And there's like scary monsters and you have to like fight to survive. Kind of like the Roman Empire times where like they were like gladiators going into the Colosseums. You know what I'm talking about, even if I sound really stupid. But it's kind of giving me that vibes, but like make it fantasy with like scary monsters. And I, as a little political girl, lefty, what's the polite word? Lefty? I am a girl that likes to be in the know about politics and like things happening in the world or whatever. But my favorite thing to do is threaten rich white men that I don't agree with or like to just like throw them into a pit. And this book sounds like the blueprint for that to happen. And I'm kind of here for it. So I'm really excited to pick it up for all the wrong reasons. One book that I'm actually reading this month, which will count, is Ring Shout by P. I'm trying to spell it in my head and my dyslexia is not showing it to me. It's like, no, too many similar letters. This is by Mr. Clark. And I'm really excited. I'm reading this April 26th. Mark your calendar. I think 5 p.m. Eastern, probably. I don't think the live show is scheduled yet, but Ashley's Little Library is hosting her bi-monthly horror-a-thon this month, and the book club buddy read pick, whatever you want to call it, is Ring Shout, which I really wanted to read for so long, and I'm very excited to finally like have a good excuse and reason to pick it up because I'm just very excited. Other options, I didn't even want to grab it. I will read it. I'm so intimidated. I'm so scared. Not because I think it's going to be a scary book. It's just so big. Like, that will be absolutely the biggest book that I've ever read. And I don't want to. It's so scary. Also, another recommendation that I saw on the Reddit that kind of intrigued me was Tales from the Gas Station. It's spooky, scary stories set at a gas station. And I can't tell you anything more than that. So, sorry. And then second to last one is to read a book with reference materials. Hard mode have more than one or like at least 2 types of reference, which could be maps, glossaries, pronunciation guides, family trees, other stuff. It's not mixed media, which when I first read this I was like, oh, mixed media, how fun. Not quite the same thing. I've been told that this one counts. It does count. There's a glossary in the back. And then a map in the front. So this is Mask of Mirrors, which counts for hard mode, and I have now confirmed it by myself, which is great. By M.A. Carrick, which is actually 2 authors in one. Mary Brennan and Alec Helms, writing together as M.A. Carrick. I don't know where they get the last name from, but this is so chunky. But I'm really excited about this. I've seen this cover for a while and it's beautiful and stunning. And I've been very intrigued. We've got a con artist tricking her way into a noble family to secure fortune for her and her sisters, or her sister. The masquerade is just one of many. And as corrupt nightmare magic begins to weave its way through the city of dreams, the poisonous feud of its nobility and the shadowy dangers of the impoverished underbelly become tangled with Ren at the heart. This just sounds so good, and I'm so excited to finally pick this freaking beast up. Why are books so big? Don't they know I have fear of big books? Like, what the hell? Why are we doing this to me? I'm so excited though. Ugh, so good. The other option that I have as like a backup is Ray Bears. I've been told works for hard mode, so if it does, great. But yeah, that's one that I just think the covers are so pretty, and I think the third book comes out soon, or it's just a duology and it's out. I don't remember, but pretty cover, and that's all I need to know about some things. And then the final one is some people's not favorite prompt of book club or read along books. Again, I usually will get messages from them on Goodreads, and it'll tell me like they've got like 5 different book clubs, and they'll be like, all right, this club is reading this one for this month, and da 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 da. And so it's not hard to complete the hard mode of reading it currently. And I think you're supposed to participate, maybe. Yeah, and it says to participate in the discussion, which I don't think I did last year. But I also don't think that I completed hard mode last year for that, so it's fine. But they have not updated it since January, so there is no current book club for any of them. So I don't know when this will happen, what it'll be. They are not the type of book club to give you 3 months advance notice. It's kind of like, all right, this month, this is what we selected. And if you're more active in the community, you might have more of an idea because you'll like see the voting or like have a chance to give way or whatever. Like, I am not a Reddit user. Reddit really truly scares me. Even though I'm sure the people on Our Fantasy are all lovely and very nice, Reddit as a platform scares me, so I just don't. So that prompt will get filled in when I can fill it in, so that's as good as it's gonna get for me today. But that is everything. Oh my goodness, these stacks of books are plentiful, like holy cow, so many books. I will be reading everything, and everything will be out of my comfort zone or like so perfectly my vibe that I will be ecstatic. So thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for letting me ramble to you about books and what I'm excited to read. Let me know what your favorite prompt from this bingo board is, and I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Bye!